Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As you guys can see, we're in the shop today, and today is actually not going to be a Corvette update. And to be honest with you guys, I actually filmed that video like 2 or 3 years ago. So I'd been sitting on a couple of videos just in case I ran out of content, waiting on parts, running into issues, and that was one of those situations where I was waiting on parts for the Corvette. I needed a video for you guys, so I just kind of re-edited that video and published it. And some of you guys liked it, some of you guys didn't, but that's all right. But today's video, shot in 2023, not shot in like 2020, whenever that was filmed, is actually going to be a follow-up. And what we're doing is showing you guys the aluminum spool gun welder from Vulcan. So I actually had to weld some brackets for the Corvette. You guys will actually see this in the next video. Since I had this tool, I decided to go ahead and make a video about it because I looked online and there were not a lot of videos about the Vulcan spool gun. So basically what this is a spool of aluminum wire, and it goes through the gun, you feed it, goes through the tip just like a MIG welder, and instead of the welding wire going through the handle, it's right here on the spool. So basically this is very easy to set up. Loosen that knob, feed the spool through the white piece right there into the gun, and then push it out the front. And then there are some changes you actually have to do to the machine. Now, if you guys look here, your ground and everything here is going to be the same, so nothing too special there. Just plug the gun in. The gun actually comes with its own main power source that goes into the welder, and then also has its own gas port. So you will have to disconnect the gas port here. I think I just used an open-ended wrench. And actually inside the welders were the main changes. You guys will see I don't have a spool there. It's because, well, my last spool actually ran out of material. But basically all you do is you will want to take this controller. You guys can see this real thin wire. You feed that through here. Plug that in down here. It's at the first port. And then the second thing you're going to want to do is release your spool and pull the old wire so that you guys can see my old MIG gun there. Pull that spool out, cut that wire, and I just ended up pulling that extra wire that was in that handle out. Pull that all out. So flip that up, flip that down. You're going to want to loosen this bolt right here. Now this actually is a knob from the factory, but my little plastic piece broke. Then you're going to want to put this big attachment piece in, make sure it's secure, tighten it down. Again, I just used an open-ended wrench. Tighten that down, and you're pretty much good to go. So it's really just those 3 changes. The gas source, you guys can see I have my argon gas. It's not the one behind the welder, but the one sitting on the floor. Switch the gas to that. Plug this in. Use this knob to tighten it down. And then also the little controller, this little 1/4-inch hose right here, that goes in down here, and you're going to want to plug that in. So pretty simple, those 3 changes. So what you're going to do is actually go into the welder and change it to make sure you know it's going to weld aluminum. So we go here, we press home, change the source to spool gun, and our spool is the 4043 aluminum. You double check that your argon and everything's plugged in, your ground cable, everything's good to go. You hit OK. Our diameter of wire is 0.035, and then your thickness, I actually have, that's probably 1/2 inch. Well, I guess 3/8 it is. So we'll change it to 3/8. There you go. So we might have to turn that amperage up a little bit, because what I'm going to do is actually try to weld this thicker plate. The brackets you guys will see in the video that we shot next, those are actually pretty thin. I think it was 1/8 inch material. So alright guys, I got some scrap aluminum here, and we're just going to try to meld them together and see if it sticks. I had real good luck with the thinner material. Let's see how this thicker stuff's going to do. Oh, and make sure you got gas. Well, I haven't cleaned any of the carbon off, but yeah, I mean, that seemed to have stuck really well. That's hot, my gloves are burning, but yeah, so let me go ahead. I'm gonna melt the bottom now, and we'll see if this continues to work. Superheated this piece, and we somehow got aluminum to melt to stainless steel, or whatever kind of steel this is. Yeah, I didn't think that was gonna stick, but that's insane that that was able to melt this down. Okay, yeah, like I suspected, it wasn't gonna stick. All right, so those are the welds on the bottom. Obviously, guys, I'm not an expert at welding at all. I just kind of wanted to show you the capability of this thing. And this welder was set on 3/8 material, and I'm pretty sure this is almost 1/2 inch. You guys can see how much heat that went in and melted the material. So, you know, I'm kind of surprised of how well this held together. So obviously the bottom, you know, by the time we finished the top weld and the bottom weld, you know, this thing got superheated. So that's why the first weld looks a lot better. The bottom piece obviously was already superheated at this point. And yeah, so that's thicker material. I've got these two little pieces. Like I said, I think those are 12 or 14 gauge, whatever it is. I'm gonna try to weld these together, and we'll show you how it does with a thinner material. All right, guys, so I've updated the welder to the 0.35, and then I changed the metal thickness to 10 gauge. Let's see if this works. Alright guys, we're a little aimed too far up on that, but yeah, it did stick the two pieces of metal together. So for this last side, again, this is going to get superheated, and I'm pretty sure that we might blow through because the welder is hot. Alright guys, here is the thin material. Again, I am no expert welder. I just changed the settings to what the recommendation was, and I didn't even clean the material. That's the other thing you guys got to remember. So you guys can see that this material did stick. You know, it's not going to bend or break. And I think I was too high on this weld too. I was actually better with this weld right here. Probably my best one on the thickest material. But on this thin stuff, it worked just fine. I just need to get better at a 45-degree angle and weld lower, not upper. That's kind of a thing I need to learn. All right, and there you go. With a simple gas bottle change, a couple configurations on your MIG welder, your OmniPro 220 can now be a MIG welder for aluminum as well with this spool gun from Harbor Freight. And yeah, like I said, I think in the previous video, I'd picked that up online. I actually didn't buy it at Harbor Freight. I don't remember what I paid for it, but what I saw the going prices for the Vulcan welder at Harbor Freight, it was like 200 bucks. I want to say I spent like half of that. So if I can, I'll try to find you guys a link for that, or if not a comparable gun. These brackets that I had to make for the Corvette, I tried TIG welding them. I wasted almost 4 hours of my time trying to get everything set up, everything super clean, everything good to go. And guess what, guys? I couldn't get the two pieces of metal to stick. I could melt the filler rod, but I could not melt the two pieces of aluminum together. They were the same piece of aluminum. I Googled online. I got like the recommended machine settings for that manual TIG welder. You know, your knobs, none of that's automated. You have to dial it in yourself. I got the recommendations. I've got a full bottle of argon, cleaned everything as best I can. used a wire brush to clean it, and I could not get anything to weld. I got so pissed off that I almost quit. But I was like, you know what? Let me move the bottle of argon over to the OmniPro, because I knew I had the spool gun. I had never set it up. And as you guys will see in the next video, I was successful and able to weld these two pieces of aluminum together. So now I will say this, the trade-off. MIG welding aluminum is ugly. It's not a pretty thing. So if you guys are making an intake pipe or something's going to be seen, something on top of an engine or whatnot, you know, and it's visible, these are kind of ugly. But if you guys are good at TIG welding, or you know someone that can TIG weld, do that. Don't waste your time trying to do it yourself, because your TIGs because your TIG welds can look just as bad as your MIG weld. So that's just another trade-off. But yeah, so I hope this video was informative. I tried to show you the setup. I tried to show you thick material, thin material, and kind of, you know, the overall results. And yeah, like I said, I'm not a professional welder at all. So if you guys drop comments down below if I suck at welding, I will fully agree with you. So, but like I said, I'm just here to show you guys different ways of getting things done. And you have an aluminum project, you got a MIG welder, you got a spool gun, do it that way. So, all right, guys, that's gonna be it. If you guys like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you guys want to see more updates on the welding projects, the Corvette, anything else around the shop, hit that subscribe button, turn on your bell notifications. If you guys want to help support the channel, I will drop links to everything that we've used today down below, including the welder, the mask, all that stuff. Like I said, I did buy that MIG gun online. Also, make sure you check out our website, BonecrrusherSS.com. All of our merchandise is there, and all of that profit goes right back in to the channel, the tools, the cars, the shop, etc. So, thanks, guys. Have a great one.